On today's podcast, with Thanksgiving approaching quickly, I want to focus on the practice of giving thanks for the people, the experiences, and the pursuits that we are thankful for. Do we as people, let alone leaders, teams, and organizations, do we take enough time to step back and give thanks to the people and progress that's being made around us? Welcome back to the Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world. Hey everyone, it's Jason and welcome back to the Thermostat Podcast. Wherever you are and however you're coming to the podcast today, welcome in. So glad you are here. We are in season 7 of the podcast, over 200 episodes. Kind of hard to believe at this point, but if you're new to the podcast, welcome. So glad you're here. Hope you'll go back, check out some of the past episodes. So many great little micro topics and pods that we've done on all kinds of stuff that hopefully adds value and contributes to where you are in your life and your work. And also unbelievable interviews that I've been lucky to have, chats with friends and colleagues and thought leaders from around the world. So I hope you'll go back and check that out. If you're one of the people that have been with us from the beginning, then so glad this continues to add value to you and contribute to your life and your work. As always, my promise to you, the listener, is space and time to step back, to think, and hopefully have a little bit of oxygen breathed into you so that you can think about the temperature that you're trying to set in your own life and your work, whatever you are pursuing. So I'm convinced more than ever that this is thinking about our own leadership, how we show up, and the culture that we create with the people around us is as important as ever in the world that we live in today. So glad you're here. If you will, before we dive into today's episode, if you'll do a quick favor to me, if you will rate the podcast 5 stars. If you aren't already subscribed, please do that. But rate the podcast 5 stars on whatever platform and leave an authentic review in your own words about the podcast. Those are the ways in which the algorithms work and help these messages reach further into the world. So anybody that takes the time to do that, and obviously, if an episode resonates with you, a topic resonates with you, share it with colleagues or team members, friends. Hey, you ought to listen to this, check this out, let's talk about it, share it on social media, whatever is authentic for you. Those are ways in which you can help amplify these messages. So thank you so much for doing that. So on today's podcast, with Thanksgiving approaching quickly, I want to focus on the practice of giving thanks for the people, the experiences, and the pursuits that we are thankful for. Do we as people, let alone leaders, teams, and organizations, do we take enough time to step back and give thanks to the people and progress that's being made around us? But before we dive into today's topic, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Many teams and organizations right now are realizing that they need to do both. They need to engage the minds and hearts of their people in person, where everyone in the room can experience the energy of congregating together and find clarity for the road ahead. And they also need to continue to find ways to engage the minds and hearts of their people virtually, with those who are working remotely or at a distance. So, if you are in the process of planning your next team meeting, company all-hands event, conference, or culture summit, and are looking for support with a powerful keynote speech, facilitated team conversations that are the currency for change, or deeper development on leadership mindset and an intentional strategy for the culture you're trying to create, I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. First, I'll just say it's fitting on today's episode with the theme of giving thanks. I'll start out by just saying thank you, a sincere thank you to you, the listeners out there for showing up, for listening, for being a part of this, engaging in the podcast. I'll say thank you to all the people out there that have read or are reading my books, whether the first book, Step Back from the Baggage Claim, or my second book, Remember, Thermostat Cultures, of course, and lastly, Breathing Oxygen. Anybody that takes the time to read and reflect on the stuff that I've written, I'm just so grateful for those people, and hopefully it has resonated with you and carried with you in your life and your work. Anybody that's been a part of an event that I've spoken at, or a conference or a team gathering or whatever that is, I'm grateful for the opportunities to have gotten to do that, and hopefully to engage the minds and hearts and be with people that have been a part of those kind of experiences. And I'm also, I should say, just so grateful and giving thanks for the leaders and the teams and the organizations that I'm grateful to support and collaborate with, those that I have a ongoing relationship with, a longer term, where we are trying to help develop their people and their culture and their clarity around mission, vision, and values. Those leaders, you know who you are, those teams, those companies, those organizations that are partnering with me and with us to try to help support your efforts and help you create the cultures and the leaders that you are hoping to create. I take that very seriously, and of course, very grateful for the people that I'm in relationship with, that we are partnering together to do this great work. So, thank you to all of those people out there who breathe good oxygen into me and are also committed to the progress in this type of work that we're seeking to do within teams and organizations. So, thank you. I'll also say another thank you. Recently, we had my Thermostat Cultures live event, which if you didn't listen to that, a recap episode, go back and just and listen to that. Another powerful day. So many amazing people that were in the room. So many people that attended virtually. Great speakers, great topics. Just a day that really breathed oxygen, I think, into everybody. Challenged us all to think about authentic leadership in the world today, the cultures that we're trying to create, and how can we think about that and calibrate our own thermostats individually, but then collectively in the year ahead. So what a powerful day that was. I'm just grateful for everybody that was a part of that. So today on this episode, I want to practice, I want to model, and I want to breathe a little oxygen into myself and allow myself to experience this giving of thanks. And as I talk about in my latest book, Breathing Oxygen, mindsets either help us breathe easier, breathe healthier, help us handle hard things better, or we find ourselves breathing in kind of toxic air of blame, negativity, gossip, etc. So today on this episode, it's going to be therapeutic for me and hopefully a little therapeutic for you too, but also helps, hopefully is a practice and models for you. Maybe how would you answer or practice the kind of things that I'm going to be talking about and thinking about on today's podcast. And then also, hopefully, beyond yourself, I hope this is an extension into the people and the team and the organization that you serve, or your family, or the people in your life. So the practice itself of giving thanks challenges us to stop what we're doing and acknowledge the great stuff that's happening around us. What are we ultimately thankful for? And we know that one time a year we slow down and we have Thanksgiving, but I try to shift that lens daily. And I tried to make sure, and I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and I certainly live in the world that we're in, and I'm distracted and all the things that we talk about on this podcast. But part of the intentionality for myself of what I aim to be is try to be intentional about the things that I'm really grateful for, thankful for, and then and then think about the kind of temperature that I'm trying to set next for that vision or those relationships, the people that around me of what we're trying to create together. So today is about the practice of giving thanks that extends beyond Thanksgiving, but also certainly Thanksgiving becomes a catalyst for many of us to practice this stopping, stepping back, and really giving thanks for the people and the things around us. So it shifts our lens to gratitude. The lens through which we see the world switches us into that lens of gratitude, and the lens through which we see the world in front of us, it illuminates the things that we're grateful for, that maybe we take for granted. It illuminates the things that around us that we should stop and step back and just be aware of. And then also to be thinking about the challenges or the things we might be facing, but see them through the lens of gratitude, even in the midst of challenges. It shifts our eyes off of all that is imperfect around us and fixates our eyes on what we are thankful for, what we're grateful for, and what we are fortunate to be experiencing in our lives and in our work. And so in practicing this art of giving thanks, I'll just share with you a personal way I try to say thank you and give thanks to others throughout the year, not just at Thanksgiving time. So I'll share with you just personally one of the ways in which I breathe oxygen into myself and that I try to practice the development of this mindset and stay rooted in gratitude in the midst of an imperfect world is that I have a little bit of a gratitude meditation or gratitude prayer practice that I've been doing for some time now. And I'll share a little bit today about what I do. I do on a daily basis, and I it doesn't mean that I don't miss a day here and there. Of course I do. I'm human, and I have a lot happening and distraction, all that. But almost every day of my life, I take time to practice this kind of giving of thanks. And most days I do this. It's a few minute kind of practice to begin my day. Some days I do it when I'm on a drive. I don't close my eyes, but I do have this kind of meditative mantra that I even say out loud when I'm driving by myself. Not freaking everybody else out, but kind of saying this. Certainly before every speech, every group that I'm with, every time I sit down to create content or write something, I take time to practice this kind of form of gratitude. On my way to meet with somebody who, a meeting or a company or a leader or somebody who said, hey, can we get together to just chat, to have a cup of coffee or beer or get together? Hey, there's something I want to talk to you about. I go through this mantra, this meditative practice, again, to make sure that my mindset is rooted in gratitude and thanksgiving in the midst of a imperfect world. And so I simply take a few minutes to roll through a litany of things that I am thankful for in my life. And I take a moment to give thanks for those things. And the extension of this begins in my own mind and in my own heart and verbally sharing it out loud. But of course, all of this is not only just for my own mind and my heart and to share these things, but also flows out into then making sure that I tell these people these things, that I am grateful and thankful for them, and they hear it from me directly. But it starts with this kind of personal mantra, where every day when I do this in a practice, I talk about my wife. I talk about the things for which I'm grateful for, and to be in relationship with Amy, and to be experiencing and co-creating the life and visioning the life that we're hoping to have together, and grateful for the things about her. And I go through a litany of things that I acknowledge, and of things that I'm just so grateful for who she is and the role she plays in my life. Similarly, I talk about my children, and I name them by name, and I talk about the different developmental stages that I see them in, and am grateful for the experiences and the opportunities and the ways in which I see them growing, and hopefully, and also focused on the type of parent that I'm hoping to be, in the relationship that I'm hoping to establish with them and continue to grow with them. I talk about my parents, and I reflect, and if you've been listening to this podcast for some time, I've done a number of different things, and I've acknowledged my parents at different times. And I talk about the lessons that they've taught me and the experiences I've been lucky that they helped me share with me, and things of the way to think about the world and think about other people that they have certainly had such an influence on me. And so I'm grateful for all those things, and I name them by name, and I acknowledge that. I talk about my brother and my sister and our family unit. I talk about our extended family and the generational kind of love and support and belief that I've felt from the people around me. And even as new, in-laws and cousins and, the aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews and all of the people. And I acknowledge them all and name them to express my gratitude for those in-laws, for those aunts and uncles and grandparents and cousins and nephews and all of those people that bring color and joy to my life. And even in the midst of course, an imperfect world, who are the people that I know I'm grateful for. I name the gratitude and the thanks for the true friendships and the people in my life that have walked with me, some for many, 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 many years, and acknowledge the belief in me and the support, and they have picked me up when I've needed it. They've celebrated with me when things have gone well. I express gratitude for all those old-time relationships, but also for the new people that I'm crossing paths with and the new relationships that are beginning and building. And I think talk about the people that I'm working with each day and across teams and organizations. And I'm grateful for the people that the things that we're facing in work, in life, in the world, to be working with good people. I name my gratitude for the fact that I get to do this type of work in the world. And I recognize that, yes, it's a choice that I made, and certainly a lot of hard work and dedication that's gone into creating it. But I don't take anything that I do lightly, that I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had and the partnerships that I acknowledged earlier. But I'm grateful that I get to do this type of work in the world. And so I express the thankfulness that I have for the leaders and the teams and the organizations that I partner with to engage the minds and hearts and stimulate progress toward the cultures that we're trying to create and continuing to raise the bar on our own leadership and the performance that we are aiming for. I express gratitude for the ability to use my mind and heart to hopefully breathe good oxygen into other people and use the gifts that for some reason I've been given, and that that this stuff has been put on my mind and heart to help share with other people. And so I share all this with you today because I'm thankful also for anyone who's listening. And I'm even more thankful for those who listen and something resonates with you and makes a difference in your life and work. I'm grateful for the ecosystem that's been created by the podcast and the books and the speaking and all the ongoing development that I'm lucky, and partnerships I'm lucky to have with teams and organizations. I'm grateful for the ecosystem of this work and how all of the contributions that so many people make to this. And so I also share this with you to invite you to think about these kind of things for your own life and work. And you don't have to do the exact same thing that I just shared or the practice of how I do it, but sometime over Thanksgiving maybe is the catalyst for this, but also an opportunity to kind of write out, all those things that you want to give thanks for, or say it out loud and let it kind of spill from your mind and your heart, that kind of stream of consciousness for all the things that you're grateful for. And allow yourself to kind of breathe in the oxygen that comes from that kind of giving of thanks and gratitude. And then what I'm always encouraged myself to do, and certainly other people to do, is then share it with other people and let them know their gratitude. I try to share those things, obviously, with my wife and my kids, my friends, and the partners that I have in work to let them know I'm grateful for that partnership. We have the opportunity to embrace and approach the people on our teams and the cultures that we are creating by honoring this kind of authenticity and the courage that it takes to stop what we're doing in a very fast world and share our gratitude and our thanks and the gifts that we see in other people. And so it's an opportunity to be intentional about reaching out and telling those people, celebrating the progress and genuine thankfulness that we have for the people and the progress that we see ourselves making. And so leaders who understand this, and teams, and in my observation, the cultures and the organizations that are committed to this kind of mindset of helping people breathe a little better, but also helping to acknowledge the good things and the celebrations and the successes that we're having, it helps perpetuate even better performance. It helps us expand. It helps us navigate our way through the things that are imperfect and that aren't going well. And these leaders, teams, and organizations, they realize that they need to, they have an opportunity to continuously be in that business of sharing gratitude and thanks to the people around them. And it helps everyone's kind of sight lines improve for how they're going to navigate the challenges and obstacles that might be in front of us. It helps us be better at what we're doing. And so healthy cultures aren't just something that naturally just happens. It's a process of how we begin to cultivate these kind of mindsets individually and then collectively. And that mindset begins to spill out into our own actions, our behavior, our thinking, acting, and interacting with the people around us. So as always, hopefully that this practice of giving thanks has been, it's been therapeutic for me. So thank you for listening. But hopefully it's been a little bit of therapeutic for you to step back and think about your own life and your own work, and how would you share that with the people around you. And as always, I'll leave you with a couple of questions to ponder coming out of this podcast. What is your list of things that you are thankful for in your life and work? And what will you say out loud, for yourself, but also, and what can you share with other people about what you are thankful for? What do you have to celebrate? What is it that you see where you see progress, and what are you grateful for with the people around you? So I hope that thankfulness is some oxygen for you. I hope you're able to breathe in a little bit of appreciation and gratitude for all that is within your control in the midst of a world that so much feels out of our control. But now is a chance to share those things and acknowledge those things. And in doing so, it not only gives energy to us individually, but it gives energy to the people around us. And we know that calibrating our own thermostat and beginning to shift the lens through which we see the world and our work and our life, it begins in our mind and our thinking, acting, and interacting. And then that temperature begins to be intentionally set with the people around us. So I hope I hope today's episode was great. I hope it breathed a little oxygen into you. If you have further questions or thoughts or topics that you want us to dive into in the future, email us info@jasonvbarger.com, and we'll continue to develop content that connects and hopefully helps contribute to your life and your work. Remember, the best leaders, teams, and organizations, they are committed to this kind of development of their people and their culture, and to stimulate progress by recalibrating their thermostat together. So step back, remember, be a thermostat, and breathe good oxygen. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using, and share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.